Good morning, friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Bernard, and today's violin lesson will be on the Loure in the E major partita, unaccompanied partita for violin. A Loure is an old French dance, usually in 3 or 6. And it's interesting that Bach starts this Loure with a pickup on a crucis. This. And so the weight isn't from the beginning, by definition, so there's this feeling of being a little unsettled, an interesting thing that Bach put into this piece. There's many ways to approach teaching this. We could talk about fingerings, because there's some different fingerings. I'll try to kind of pull it all together. There's also bowings, because in the original, I'm playing off the Henley edition. In the original, there's no indication whether it starts up bow or down bow. And it could start either way. I like it both ways. If I go, that's very nice also starting up versus starting down. There's more of a feeling of on a crucis when you start down. And if I start up, it's a little bit more even. So I always like to tell my students, you have to make an artistic decision. You have to be involved. Okay, so same for me, of course. Every time I play this piece, I approach it maybe with a different violin, different bow, different strings. I'm a different person. And that's what's wonderful about this wonderful old classical music. It can be played in infinite number of ways. So generally, you're going to find, as I go through this piece, I'm hooking bowings together. I'm just glancing down. For example, if I start down, then there's going to be a slur on the next from the dotted quarter in bar 1. If I start up, then I'll probably play it separate. So interesting. It makes slight difference. If I go to the next phrase, I'll hook that together, because in the music it's all separate. It's an artistic decision on your part. You can decide you like it better or not. I decided that I wanted to hook it. Okay. There's also, of course, the fingering issues. You say, well, what about the... And you have to make a decision about this. And I've made the decision that I'm going to be playing basically eighths and quarters all the way through. For example, in bar 3, I'm playing, I guess you could say, a dotted quarter. Dotted quarter, then an eighth. Instead of what's written is the half note. And then what do you do on this one? That one, you can't even do that one except something manipulation. I've heard some great artists like Heifetz. He simply plays eighth notes all the way through it. Something like that, okay? So I've decided I'm just going to take the path of least resistance. There's also, for me, after playing this piece all my life, I really don't like this what I consider over-stylized. The trills bother me. So it's up to you. If you like them, play them. But for me, I've decided to go into a slightly more, I think it's a very Baroque style. I'm not sure that it's specifically Bach, but it fits here. If I play... So just smoothing it out a little bit instead of the, more, as I say, over-stylized trills. So I'm doing some ornaments, and as we go through the piece, I'll explain the ornaments I do and I don't do and how I adjust them. All right, so let's just start from the beginning. And of course, the dynamic would be piano. Now here, have a choice. I can either make it separate or I can tie that A over. There's a sort of an emphasis on that note without having to take a separate bow. So there's a little bit of emphasis on that. So I'm always trying to make everything more expressive, more expressive. Let me try one more time. Yeah, it felt really good. I don't know, my bowing got a little backward. Let me try one more time, see if I get my bowing feeling better. So I'll start this time down bow. Yeah, that worked out nicely. I probably, when I started up bow, didn't adjust things properly. So now we're in bar 4. And we have choices here in the fourth and fifth beat. We can do them hooked, or we could do them. It just depends. For me, it depends a lot on how my violin responds. Sometimes my violin's a little stiff on the D string. And the last note when I'm doing it diminuendo won't speak. So to compensate for that, I do on the upstroke, usually the bow will speak better. So these are just adjustments we have to make using these synthetic strings. I found that, over the years, coming from gut-centered strings to synthetic, that we're losing our velvety piano, touches from our bow. We get loud. Loud is very good and it stays in tune, but that's the issue. So we can hook again. Now here's a place where I put the slur in. I take advantage. I do a little slide, very tasteful. It's nothing like that. It's got to be a very tasteful slide. Come back to first. Okay, now we're in bar 7. Now 7, you notice we've got that half note. We could play it in third position. To cover that, bring that across. I feel the compromise is stay in first. Just let the line predominate. I go to the open E string. Same thing. So that's my solution. The other solution might be. And that's okay if you want to do that. Try it again. And mine was. See, there's a little extra interest with the quarter note, which is marked a half note. We make it a quarter. We get this line. It kind of brings it out when you make it shorter. So that's just something for you to consider. Okay, so now I've moved myself to at this. I get the second position here to prepare for the next measure 8. So starting in second position, the whole thing fits nicely. Then back to first, and I allow myself another little slide. And you hear that? See, that one worked. That's just not the right style for Bach. This is all right. So, well, I've got some choices here in bar 9. Okay, I could play an open E, and I tried that, but I think that E needs more expression, right? Espressivo. And then to set up the next one, I just come down to first position. And you never even notice it. Now there's a case where the quarter's on the bottom. I'm just dropping it, letting it be an eighth note. And there I bring that open E back in, just for always trying to get contrasting sounds. And notice no slide there. that's not gonna work. Back to first. Always making these eighth notes record. And I hook that. And here's another hook. Now I'm staying in half position. And again using that open E. It's like something about us violinists. We love using open E whenever it can be done tastefully and in the music. It's a nice, different sound. Play that for you. And you notice here, I'm not holding that at that F sharp. Let it be just an eighth note. Okay, so that's, and usually at this point I would repeat the first half, and probably not too many changes. It's such a beautiful movement. I don't have to do special dynamics the second time or change fingerings. I mean, it's pretty difficult also if you're memorizing this. You have to really know it, you know. So okay, so I think at this point we're over 12 minutes. So I'll stop the video, and this will be the end of part 1, and then I'll do part 2. Okay.